Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the video. Firstly, I want to apologize for my voice. The seasons are changing in Illinois and my allergies are at full effect. And if you can't understand me, I'm sorry. I'll try my best when I'm looking over the footage to put some subtitles in so you can understand. But today I'm going to be showing you guys, just like in my last video with my old Mustang, when I swapped the Explorer intake into that car, I'm going to be showing you what you need to know when swapping over the Gen 3 intake onto your first gen Coyote. So let's get down to what I think is the most important of the entire install, and we're talking about the throttle body. The throttle body on this car is the stock one that came off the old intake, and the reason for that is because they bolt up perfectly. And if I were to go out and buy a throttle body for a Gen 3 Coyote, I would be looking at just over $1,000 for the install, and I wouldn't even pick up more horsepower with that Gen 3 throttle body. And you can also reuse, if you already have a cold air intake or something like that on your stock car before you switch over the intakes, you can continue to use that cold air intake on your 11 to 14 throttle body with no problems. Next, we're going to look at something that I think is fairly important. You're going to see right back here, right there, that is the rear water neck bolt. And if you don't take that off, the intake will not clear. Now, I have had this off for about 3,000 miles, and I have not had any type of leaking problems. And I know that worries a lot of people when they tell you, when you watch the install videos, to take off the rear water neck bolt. It won't leak, as far as I know, as long as you leave that water neck alone and don't try to remove it and then decide I'm just going to keep the stock water neck instead of using the 15 to 17. As long as you keep that one bolt here, remove that last one, I think that you will be perfectly okay. Another thing that I've noticed that the videos don't cover necessarily too well, and I apologize for this absolutely filthy engine bay. The car's been like this since I bought it, and I tried to clean it and then got bored. Nobody really sees under the engine bay anyways. It's usually they just see the taillights. But we're looking at your stock injectors. Well, if you can see them, there's those clips in there. You need to be extremely careful, especially if you're working on a car that has never had these injectors come out, because you can break those brittle little clips and then you'll have to replace the entire pigtail. Ask me how I know. And now we'll move on to the intake itself. So as you can see right there, here, there's a white cap on the intake, and that is for your intake manifold runner control. That's only a viable option on the Gen 2 and Gen 3 Coyotes. So if you have an 11 to 14, you can't use your runner controls or your CMCV actuators or anything like that. When it comes down to it, it's a fairly simple install. Really, all you have to do for your CMCV actuators is remove them, plug them or cap them off with the delete kit from VMP, Stita. It doesn't matter where you get it, as long as it's a perfect fit. You want it to look nice, tucked away in the engine bay like that, and I think the brushed billet looks fairly good. These caps right here are 5/16, and the CMCV is also 5/16, and you have to make sure that these are capped before you try to start the car, because if you forget, you're gonna wonder and worry, and then all it's gonna be is, oh, I forgot to cap off the vacuum port. Now, moving on to the awful vacuum line routing and install. The lines that I used are 12 inches in length when you put them all together, but I did have to use one of these from AutoZone, and they're double tightened to make sure that none of that comes off. I also have it zip tied here, and it will come down here to another 2, because I was very worried about how all this stuff was going to work. I've had to chase vacuum before. That stuff's not fun, so I just made sure there was a Hulk sized grip on this line. You have these 2 zip tied together. Your purge solenoid literally is just going to flop around in the engine bay, and most likely you're going to have some kind of kink or bend here. Don't worry about it too much. I mean, it's like this. It's perfectly fine. I haven't had any issues with it. I haven't had any codes come up for it, so I'm not going to worry about it until the car says that there's something wrong. That's all I've got for this video. I'm just going over some of the stuff that companies like CJ Pony Parts, VMP, American Muscle, LMR, you know, stuff like that. Things that they left out that would probably be good to know on a consumer basis, exactly what you're gonna need so that your car's not, you know, sitting in the driveway while you're waiting on somebody to bring you emissions hose, or you just buy your intake and you're worrying that, you know, you might not have got the right throttle body, or that your cold air intake won't fit because it's for an 11 to 14 and you just bought a Gen 3 manifold. It's just stuff that I think the companies should have gone over while they were, you know, doing the install videos. But that's all I got time for, guys. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. And until next time, guys, peace.